Once upon a time, there was a curious and cheerful boy named Jack. Jack lived with his family in a big city. Every morning he would wake up early, go to school, hear the sound of cars in the streets, and play with his friends in the park. Life in the city was very fast and noisy. Everyone was always rushing somewhere, and the buildings were enormous. Jack had gotten used to this life, but sometimes he wished to be in a quieter place. One day, his mother gave him some great news. "Jack, today we are going to the village, and there will be a big wedding in the village." Jack didn't know much about village life, but the idea of a village wedding sounded very exciting to him. Jack felt a flutter of excitement inside him. In the city, he had always gone to big wedding halls filled with bright lights, loud music, and fancy clothes. The thought of seeing a village wedding for the first time made him both excited and curious. Finally, the time for the journey arrived. As Jack sat in the car, he looked outside and saw huge trees and green fields waving at him. "I wonder what the village is like," he thought to himself. He realized it was very different from the city. When they got out of the car, the fresh smell of earth, the colors of flowers, and the chirping of birds surrounded Jack. In the village, everyone had a smile on their face. There was going to be a big wedding that day, and everyone was excited. When Jack saw the hustle and bustle in the village square, he immediately asked, "What's going on here? Why is everyone so excited?" His mother smiled and said, "There's a wedding in the village tonight, Jack. You're going to see your first village wedding." Jack's eyes sparkled. Up until that moment, whenever he thought of a wedding, he imagined the bright lights, loud music, and grand halls of the city. But the atmosphere in the village was completely different. Long tables had been set up in the middle of the square, and everyone was busy preparing something. The women were cooking, and the men were decorating the wedding area. As Jack looked around, he admired how everyone worked together. "This looks like so much fun," he thought to himself. As evening came, the wedding began. The sounds of drums and zurna filled the air. Jack felt like even his heartbeat changed with the strong sound of the drum. "This sound is loud, but it's fun at the same time," he thought. People gathered in the square and started to dance. At first, Jack felt a little shy because he had never seen such dances at city weddings. But his grandfather took his hand and led him to the middle of the square. "Come on, Jack. This is how we dance here," his grandfather said with a smile. At first, Jack didn't know what to do, but his grandfather began to teach him. One step to the right, one step to the left. Jack struggled a bit at first, but after a while he started to enjoy it. Dancing turned out to be a lot of fun. At that moment, there was some excitement in the wedding area. The bride's procession had begun. Young men, dressed in colorful clothes, rode on horses to go and fetch the bride. When Jack saw the horses, he jumped up and down in excitement. The bride returned to the village on a white horse. She had a red veil on her head, and everyone welcomed her with applause. Jack was in awe of the sight. "This doesn't happen in the city," he muttered to himself. As the wedding went on, Jack experienced another tradition, the gift-giving ceremony. Everyone lined up and started giving gold to the bride and groom. Jack found this custom very interesting. "Why is everyone giving gold?" he asked his mother. His mother replied, "It's a tradition, Jack. Giving gold means sharing in their happiness." When Jack heard this, he thought it was a beautiful custom. The idea of people supporting one another made him feel warm inside. Throughout the night, Jack played games, danced, and made new friends. He met the village children, and together they ran and jumped around. They told Jack all about the fun things to do in the village. Jack compared his life in the city with the close-knit atmosphere of the village and realized how different but wonderful it was. Here, everyone knew each other, and everyone helped one another. Jack thought, "There's no closeness like this in the city." At the end of the wedding, everyone started to dance the hale. Jack had seen hale on TV before, but he had never danced it himself. Once again, his grandfather took his hand and taught him how to dance the hale. Although Jack mixed up the steps at first, after a while he joined the hale with everyone. He realized how fun it was to dance the hale. By the end of the night, Jack was very tired but also very happy. Everything about the village wedding seemed so different but so beautiful to him. The way people were connected, having fun together, and keeping old traditions alive warmed Jack's heart. As he lay in bed that night, he told his mother, "Mom, village weddings are nothing like city weddings, but the traditions here are so beautiful and heartfelt. I want to come to another village wedding next time." His mother stroked Jack's hair and said, "Yes, son, village weddings are a part of our culture. You're very lucky to experience these wonderful traditions." As Jack closed his eyes, all the memories of the day flashed before him like a movie. The sound of the drum, the bride's red veil, the people dancing the hale. All of these had become beautiful memories, and so the story of the colorful village wedding came to an end. But Jack eagerly awaited the next village wedding, and as he drifted into sweet sleep, there was a big smile on his face.